محمد وعلى الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we've looked at Surah Al Muddathir, and I said Surah Al Muddathir was comfort, a hug, it's relaxation. In contrast, Muddathir is when you cover yourself up out of cold or fear or anxiety. You know, when you pull your coat together when it's cold. In England we have this all the time. So that is Muddathir. Muddathir is anxiousness, fear, that sort of stuff. So the difference between the two is quite dramatic. 56 ayat, it's a Makki surah. Again, it's part of Nida Street, and we've divided it into 5 sections. The focus of the surah, in essence, is literally the perseverance in conveying the divine message. And that's literally what it's all about. You have to continue despite whatever. It's twinned with Muzammil, and I've mentioned this in my introduction. The benefits of recitation, and I mentioned that before, it's a protection from misfortune. And recite this dua, and then ask for your hajat. The one that I absolutely adore is that you will not die until you memorize the Quran if you do the dua for memorization after the recitation of this surah. I suggest read both Muzammil and Muddathir for this. So we're going to look at section 1, which is ayah 1 to 7. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhal muddathir. It could refer, some of us Syrians say, that, remember, Muzammil was when he has this revelation, and this is some of the Mufassirin who say this, when he came down, when the Prophet comes down and he tells, say, the Khadija, I need somebody to, and something to, I just need some comfort because of the revelation. But Muddathir may refer to the time when he sees Jibreel on the horizon. Oh my goodness, the awesomeness, the awe of it all. So, Ya ayyuhal muddathir, O you who are covered. These are translations we've taken from general ones, but please look at tadathara, means to tremble. So, O you who have covered yourself up because you are anxious. Stand up, fa'andir. Remember, Muzammil was to stand and pray. Here, stand up, and now you've got work to do. Warn them. What do you warn them with? وَرَبَّكَ فَكَبِّرْ. Continually tell them the exclusive greatness of Allah, that Allah is greater than anything or anyone. A continuous telling of them. He is greater than anything or anyone. Nothing of theirs is greater than Allah. And that's what you need to tell them. You all know the palindrome. So Rabbaka and Kabbara. Can you see it's the other way around? Kabara and Rabbaka. Put them the other way around. It's amazing. So maybe one day we'll look at all this, all these word combinations. وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ. It could mean the literal. Make sure that you've got clean clothes, obviously, but it's probably metaphorical. Surround yourself, clothe yourself with people who are good company. And that's for me and you as well. وَالرُّجْسَ فَحْجُرْ. And keep away from any sort of emotional disruption. Just move away from it. It's not going to be easy. They're going to push all your buttons. Anger, they will cause you anger. They will hurt you. But move away from any of these emotional disruptions. وَلَا تَمْنُن تَسْتَكْثِرْ. Now, man is both reminding someone of a favor, and it's also to discontinue. So regardless of the fact that they will increase their intimidation, do not discontinue your task. Do not discontinue what you're doing. It may also say, do not discontinue your work because you may think of the enormity of the task ahead of you. Don't let it intimidate you. I'm with you. That's what Allah is telling you. وَلِرَبِّكَ. And for your Rabb, fasbir. Persevere. Just carry on. You may not get any followers in the first whatever week. Doesn't matter. You do your bit. You just keep on and on and on. Sabr is not just patience. Sabr is literally perseverance, doing your best, and then handing it over to Him. So this ayah is saying, in this daytime activity, you've got to tell them, number one, that there is nothing or no one greater than Allah. You have to surround yourself with good people. Don't let you get emotionally disturbed. And we've already had Muzammil, where you're told, talking to me, I will take away all your emotional disturbance. And finally, do not when you look at the enormity of the task, don't discontinue, or the enormity of the intimidation you come across. Section 2, that's now Allah actually captures in this section the way Walid ibn Mughira was an only child. He was very intelligent. He was very wealthy. And his intelligence, he actually recognized the awesomeness of the Quran. But for him, he's sort of thinking, if I accept this, I mean, I will have to give up a lot. He would have to leave his status, his social, his economic status. So now Allah has captured his whole game plan. He could have just said this is what he thought, but it's amazing. This I've not seen anything like this anywhere, and you may not either. But it actually captures his every single move, his thinking, his plotting, the way he does things. So first of all, Allah says, فَإِذَا نُكِرَ فِي النَّاقُورِ, when the trumpet is blown. Nakira is to blow with a sound. That means it's not only the trumpet making a sound, but the angel who is blowing it will make a sound, which means there's an announcement with it as well. فَذَلِكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَوْمٌ أَسِيرٌ, and that day will be a difficult day. It's talking about accountability. عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ غَيْرُ يَسِيرٌ, for those who cover up the truth, it will not be easy at all. So now, this is an example. He says, ذَرْنِي, leave me. وَمَنْ خَلَقْتُ وَحِيدًا, and the one I created alone. In other words, he was born an only child. وَجَعَلْتُ لَهُ مَالًا مَمْدُودًا, we gave him wealth. Mamdud comes from mud, stretches. Wealth which just grew and grew and grew. His investments were very, very successful. وَبَنِينَ شُهُودًا, and he had sons in front of him. No amount of money can bring your children to you. They all go their own ways. One of the greatest ni'mas, blessings of Allah, is to have your children around you. So he had his children around him. By the way, one of his sons is Khalid ibn Walid. وَمَحَدْتُ لَهُ تَمْهِيدًا, Allah says we facilitate for him easiness. So he had ease, and Allah keeps on saying we. وَمَحَدْتُ لَهُ تَمْهِيدًا, we facilitated ease for him. ثُمَّ يَطْمَعُ أَنْ أَزِيدَ, but you know what, even then he had so much, yet he wanted more and more and more. So one of the signs is that he's greedy. كَلَّا, never, ever, ever, ever. This is like a really heavy no, like that, you know, it's no. إِنَّهُ كَانَ لِآيَاتِنَا عَنِيدًا, إِنَّهُ, indeed he, of our signs, he was anida, he was stubborn, he didn't want to accept them, he opposed them. سَأُرْهِقُهُ سَعُودًا, that's quite a strong, سَأُرْهِقُهُ, we will escalate a heavy punishment for him. Now, this is what he did. إِنَّهُ, indeed he, فَكَّرَ وَكَدَّرَ, he thought, fikr, and he calculated. So now he's listening to the Prophet. He's thinking, this makes a lot of sense, because he's intelligent. He knows this is the truth. But he's thinking, it's the truth. But God, the amount of stuff I'll have to give up. And then Allah says, فَقُتَلَ, may he be killed. كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ, look how he plotted. Now remember, everybody's waiting for his verdict, because he's intelligent, he's wealthy, he's got status in the community, so they're all waiting for him to say something. ثُمَّ قُتِلَ, again may he be killed. كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ, look how he plotted. ثُمَّ نَظَرَ, he stared, he focused at the Prophet. So now they're all waiting, they're looking at him. The Prophet's talking and he's focusing on the Prophet. And they're looking at him. Can you imagine you can imagine now, because when you see on television, say you're watching one of these programs where you're looking at the contestant and you're looking at the judges. So you imagine the camera is focused on the contestant and then it's focused on the judges. And you can tell by the look of the judges how they're feeling about that contestant. So they're looking at him, and Allah says, Thumma abasa. You know, we've got Surah Al Abasa with their lines on the forehead, right? So he's frowning, or basar, and he looks very upset, and they're going, oh God, what is he going to say? And then he stands up. Thumma adbar, and he turns away, wastakbar, and he shows his arrogance. So they come up to him and say, okay, tell us, what is it? Is he a liar? Remember they called him a liar? No, he's not a liar. Is he insane? No, this is too intelligent stuff to be insane. Is he a mind reader? No. So he's thinking, what am I going to say? فَقَالَ إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ يُوثَرٌ. This is nothing but magic. Magic is something you don't understand. So he's telling them, it's something, it's magical. He's a magician, Yuthar, and it's passed down from other magicians to him. In هذا إلا قول البشر. It's not divine, definitely not divine. It is something taught by human beings. So he's made his decision, and they've heard him. He told them the allegations of magic, this is it's plagiarized, it's taken from other people, and it's non-divine. Sa'uslihi sakar. Allah says, I will throw him into sakar. Now, sakar, I'll try to explain what sakar is. Sakar is the shams, is when the sun is so hot and you've gone out in the sun and you've come out with heat fever, if there's anything called like that, but your head is boiling and you're really hot. That is sakar, where everything is hot in there. So Allah says we will throw him into that. And what is sakar? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا sakar? And what do you think this sakar is? La tubqi wa la tadar. It is relentless. It doesn't leave you alone. So it's talking about him, how can you imagine his thoughts? His thoughts know this is right, yet he is projecting something that he knows that if he doesn't project that untruth, his status socially and financially and intellectually will go away. So it's in his head, it's going to be relentless. It won't leave him alone. Lawahatun lil bashar. It will turn. Bashar is skin. It will burn the skin again and again and again. It will scorch it. So basically, his outside persona will be scorched because it's based on untruth. Okay, and then something that everybody seems to think they know about, which is alayha tis'ata ashar. Over it are 19. And as soon as the Prophet said that, they started making fun. They said 19, oh my goodness, we got armies of 1900. We can beat this. What do you mean 19? What is all that about? And then the ayah is revealed. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ إِلَّا مَلَائِكَةً. These are not just 19 human beings. These are angels. These are divine forces. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا إِدَّتَهُمْ. And we did not make their number إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفْرُوا. Except for a test for those who covered up the truth. لِيَسْتَيْقِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ. So those who were given the book would have yaqeen. لِيَسْتَيْقِنَ comes from yaqeen. If they looked in their books, they would find 19. وَيَزْدَادَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. And increase those who believe in their faith. وَلَا يَرْتَابَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And those who were given the book and the mu'mineen will not doubt. But وَلِيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ. The one who've got a disease in their heart. وَالْكَافِرُونَ. And those who cover up the truth. They'll say, مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا. Why does Allah, what does Allah mean by this example? They don't focus on what is necessary to change themselves, but they focus on that which is not necessary. So Allah says, كَذَلِكَ يُذِلُّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. In other words, you have a choice. You can be led astray by this number, or you can be guided by it. You will be so obsessed by it that you keep on thinking of 19, when literally He said it so that you tell yourself, is this really your focus? وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. and nobody knows the armies of your Rabb but He Himself. وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرَى لِلْبَشَرِ. And this is nothing but a phenomenal, awesome reminder for the human being. Now section 4. It's really amazing how this sort of jumps over into here. Now he says, Kalla wal kamar. Kalla? No. I swear by the moon. The moon gives you light in the darkness, akin to revelation. Walayli id adbar. And the night when it recedes, when it turns back. Wasubhi ida asfar. And the daybreak when it shines. So it's talking about revelation. This revelation dispels the anger or dispels the darkness of ignorance. And then will come a day when it'll be completely obvious. I call this the day of Imam Zamana, Ajjalallahu Faraja. When truth will be just there, out there, totally obvious. Innaha li ahad al-kubar. Please, just don't even look at that translation. If you have that translation in your Quran, please rub it out. Because this is not talking about Jahannam or misfortune of Jahannam. It's actually saying it's the greatest, most powerful event. And what was that? The greatest, most powerful event is revelation. I repeat again, we've only put this there because you find it in your Quran, so please take it off. It's literally saying revelation was the most powerful, greatest event. Put a line through it, like mine here. Let me show you. So there, I put a line through the translation. Okay. So innaha li ahad al-kubar naziran lil bashar. It is a warning to human beings. Bashar is somebody covered in a skin. And then he says, liman sha'a minkum an yataqaddama aw yata'akhkhar. You have a choice. It's free will. You either choose to take this revelation and move towards your full potential, or like Walid ibn Mughira, you will go behind. You will recede because you will think you're going to lose your social, economic, or intellectual status in the world. Finally, the last section. Now here, it's really interesting how the inmates of Jahannam are explaining to the inmates of Jannah why they are in Jahannam. It's really amazing. Kullu nafsin bima kasabat rahina. Every human being is held in collateral with their deeds. So Allah is saying everybody is sort of tied to their deeds. Okay. Illa ashab al-yamin, except the people of the right hand, because they're just phenomenal. Their deeds, they're not held by them, they're moved forward by them. They're fi jannatin, they're in these gardens, yatasaalun, and they're talking to each other. Anil mujrimin, about the guilty. So these were their friends, these were people with them, so they're saying, and they're allowed to talk to them. There's no stuff like we're going to talk behind their back. You're going to ask them straight out. You're going to talk to them. Ma salakakum fi sakar. How did you get there? What brought you into sakar? Why? Qalu, number one. So the first thing they said was, Alam naku minal musallin. We didn't pray at all. See, naku, alam naku, we just didn't pray. We weren't of the praying type. Walam naku nut'imul miskin. And we didn't feed the poor. So the manifestation of Salah is how I treat human beings. Remember, obedience to the Creator, serving His creation. So we just heard that a little while ago. So we didn't feed the poor either. But we did do something. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. Khawd is an activity with no focus. We chilled. We just, aimless activity. We watched a lot of TV. We played a lot of computer games. Days just went on like that for us. وَكُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. And we denied accountability. We called the day of judgment a lie. So there were 4 things they did. Didn't pray, didn't feed the poor, didn't do any humanitarian stuff. The third thing, they just hung out aimlessly. There was no aim in what they did, and they denied accountability. So they did 4 things. Hatta atana al-yaqeen, until conviction came to us. So conviction is death, absolute conviction, until that came to us, which was death. Now at this point, فَمَا تَنْفَعُهُمْ شَفَاعَةُ الشَّافِعِينَ. No intercessors will work. If you and I thought that maybe I can do whatever I want, but I will go to Muharram Majlis and I'm being told if I cry a little, that's Jannah for me. La, 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 la. No. I have to be Husseini in essence to be able to get that shafa'ah. So we've got to be really, this ayah says, فَمَا تَنْفَعُهُمْ شَفَاعَةُ الشَّافِعِينَ. Hussein stood for prayer. He stood for standing for those who didn't have anything. He stood for something that had an aim, and accountability was always there. So it's really important to understand this. فَمَا لَهُمْ, what's wrong with them? عَنِ التَّذْكِرَةِ مُعْرِضِينَ. They turn away from this phenomenal reminder. And how do they do it? كَأَنَّهُمْ حُمُرٌ مُسْتَنْفِرَةٌ. Just like donkeys, they run away. The moment they hear Quran or Majlis, now these people we're talking about, the moment they saw the Prophet coming, they ran away like donkeys. So Allah is saying, they run away from anything religious. If it just have the word religion, they run away. And it's not like that. The Quran is beautiful. And look at, he tells the Prophet, it's like farrat min qaswara. They run away from a lion. They run away from revelation like a lion. Lion is a king of the jungle, just as the Quran is. And they run away from it like donkeys. But what does everybody want? وَلْيُرِيدُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ مِّنْهُمْ أَنْ يُؤْتَى صُحُفًا مُنَشَّرَةً. Everyone wants that they have loads and loads of certificates and qualifications, and their deeds are all, this is how I think I am. My CV is made up by myself. So they want the CV they've made up to be in front of them. But that's not how it is. Killa. No. It's never going to be what they want. But لَا يَخَافُونَ الْآخِرَةَ. But they do not understand accountability. They do not fear accountability because they do not believe in it. كَلَّا إِنَّهُ تَذْكِرَةٌ. This is a powerful reminder. It's a phenomenal reminder. فَمَنْ شَاءَ ذَكَرَ. Whoever wants will take a reminder from it. وَمَا يَذْكُرُونَ إِلَّا أَنْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. And وَمَا يَذْكُرُونَ, only the one who will take it to heart, who will remember it, who will understand it, will be able to make use of it, basically. Now he talks of himself as huwa ahlu taqwa. He's the one who deserves God consciousness. Wa ahlul maghfirah, and he is the one who owns forgiveness. So ahlu taqwa, one who deserves God consciousness, and one who deserves forgiveness. And that in essence brings us to the end of Surah Al Muddathir.